and welcome. Here is another video about SMMware, software for handling sales, project management, operations, and more for small to medium-sized businesses. Today we'll discuss time, expense, and travel entry in SMMware. Okay, let's begin. Right now we're on the home page. We'll go to the Associates menu and down to Record My Hours and Mileage. On this page I have a drop-down where I can determine whose hours I'm going to be managing. If I was an entry-level employee, I just wouldn't have that. The top section is a table for creating new entries, and the bottom table is for existing entries. Here you can edit and delete them unless you are using the approval system and the item has been approved, in which case you will just see the View button as well as the name of who approved it. Or if it was used on an invoice, then you'll see the invoice number, and once again you'll just be able to view it. When we create a new hourly entry, we have the choice of formats in the system between start time and end time. Flipping over to another system, you can see here that we just have a single field where you would enter the total hours. Going back to our first system, we'll go ahead and pick a date and a job, a start time, an end time. We'll also put in a break hours entry. You'll note that you can mark this as billable or not. Since I am an administrator, I have the choice of a pay level drop-down, so I can set the pay level directly. If I was an entry-level employee, then my pay level would be determined by the rules of the system. I can also enter the number of miles traveled here. SMMware supports a formula where the first number of miles are unpaid to the employee or uncharged to the client, and then after that there is a rate per mile. We'll see that in more detail when we look at the settings. If you are not in the United States, if you're using metric, this can be in kilometers as well. The description field is where we can type in by hand, or I can choose something from the list of presets, which is also customizable. If I worked at one location in the morning and on another job in the afternoon, I can add another row. That way I don't have to repeat the entire process. If I waited too long before making my entry, it'll be marked as late, and an administrator will get an email letting them know that this entry was created. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at entering expenses. We'll go to the Associate menu and down to Record My Expenses. Once again, I have a drop-down allowing me to manage entries on behalf of someone other than myself. And I have a table at the top for new entries and a table at the bottom for the existing entries. Once again, I will go ahead and enter a date and pick a job. This time I need to put in the total amount. I would also pick a vendor. I can mark this as billable or not. I can upload a scan or photo of a receipt. And I can hand type the entry. Or I can choose from a preset. These radio buttons indicate whether the employee paid out of pocket or not. If they did and they need to be reimbursed, then choose the reimbursable radio button. If they use the company credit card, then just leave it set for company. Now let's take a look at the settings that affect the hours and expenses. Go to Admin and Settings. The first section we'll look at is number 2. Most of these settings are self-evident, but we'll touch on a couple of them. Sometimes you want to take an invoice pre-printed to a job, and you want to assume that the number of hours going to be worked is something that you know. And SMMware would not normally allow you to enter hourly entries that are in the future, but you can use this setting to allow that. Instead of having nobody, maybe you just have admins. You can go with lower privilege levels, allowing them to make future entries, but the two most common are admin and nobody. And also, SMMware normally will prevent you from creating duplicate entries for hours, but if that should be necessary, then you can change this instead of nobody down to admins, or lower if you think it's appropriate. This is the section where we can create presets. This one is for the hours and travel. And this list of items will appear under the presets for expenses. Now we're going to look at the configuration settings for travel pay. We'll open section 7 for editing. Go down to the bottom. We'll add a new entry, and you can see where you can set the effective date, how many miles the associate has to go before they would start getting pay, and once they do, what the rate is per mile. You can also indicate whether the client will be charged, how many miles the employee has to go before the client starts being charged, and what the rate per mile will be. And that concludes our introduction to time, expense, and travel entry in SMMware. To find out more, visit our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/SMMware for more videos about specific features of SMMware, or visit our website at www.smware.com, or you can call us at 240-285-4619 with questions or to arrange a demo. We appreciate your time and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.